Hey everybody, welcome back to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and here on my YouTube channel, and this is part 4 of our solid state logic UC-1 series of videos. This is the kind of the wrap-up video for the UC-1. I'm going to tell you about the things I really like about the UC-1, some of the things I think that need to be improved or could use some improvement, and just kind of give you an overview to say, hey, this is something that you really should consider if you're looking at one of these products. So before we get started, if you like what you see in the video, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. Also, if this is your first time here, go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, get yourself your free mixing course. It's right on the homepage. It's a $100 value. It's my gift to you just for visiting homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Stick around till the end of the video and I'm going to give you something else for free as well. So here we are, Studio One. And we got one of our channel strip plugins up here. So let's talk about this UC-1. Oh, and full disclosure, again, I need to thank Sweetwater as well as Solid State Logic for providing me the UC-1 so I could bring this series of videos to you. And this final video here is part of this series. But as always, I did not get paid for the video. No money exchanged hands. They don't get a chance to see the video before it goes live. And you know Uncle Dave is going to tell you the truth about all of these control surfaces that we've been testing throughout the whole year here on the channel. So I'm going to tell you the things I don't like about this thing. There are a couple of things I think need to be improved. You know you're going to get it straight from good old Uncle Dave. But thank you, Sweetwater. Thank you, Solid State Logic, for sending me the unit so I can do this for you guys. And if you're interested in purchasing your own UC-1, click the link in the description box below for Sweetwater. That is my affiliate link. And when you do that, you help support what I do here, and I really do appreciate it. So let's get into this. Let's start off with the likes. There's a lot of things I like about this UC-1, this Solid State Logic plugin controller. The first thing I love about it, it's built like a tank. It is of high build quality. It definitely warrants the price tag that they're asking for this unit. It is not cheap in any way, shape, or form. It is based out of a heavy gauge, built out of a heavy gauge aluminum, it seems like. Everything's metal. The knobs feel great. They feel just like my SSL console. I have an SSL Origin sitting over my shoulder here. And I will tell you that the knobs are the same that are on the Origin. The buttons and the switches are identical to what's on my console. It feels like a professional piece of gear. It's not cheap or chintzy in any way, shape, or form. I really love that. You would expect that from Solid State Logic, and they delivered that for sure. So the build quality is absolutely top-notch. No reservations there whatsoever. I also like that part of the build quality is, if you saw our unboxing video of this, and if you haven't, you should check the playlist in the description box below. You can't really see it in the video here, but they have two legs, adjustable legs that you can put on the front, or feet that you can put on the front of the unit to change the angle of how high you want this to sit up or down. I'll be honest, I don't know of any other dog controller that I've tested. No, I can't think of one that actually has that. Usually they lay flat on the table, or you have to prop something up underneath it, and the angle is never perfectly right, or you have to buy a customized stand for it and spend extra money to get that. This, they come with the 2 feet and you can lower or raise the angle. I really appreciate that. It's a kind of a quality of life thing that really makes it nice. So when you're looking at this thing on your desk, you can see everything very, very clearly. So the build quality, the adjustable feet, great. Also too, I'll tell you about the feel of the knobs. As I said, also you have the text that is written on the actual screen, printed on the actual unit. It's big, you can see it, it's easy to see. I have very, very dim lighting here in the studio. I know it looks it on camera. I have a couple of video lights up at the ceiling, but trust me, on my desk where my hands are right now, it is dark with a dark background. It's darker than when I usually work. I have more lights in the room, but for the video, I lower the lights so you can see my pretty face a lot better. Anyway. One other thing about other dog controllers and controller surfaces like this that I've seen on the market by other companies, and you can go watch all those videos on my channel, I remember saying on at least 2 of them, it was very difficult to see the printing. It was very difficult to read what was on the unit. It was very, very hard to see it. In some cases, you needed a flashlight to see it. It was really, really bad. I will say on this unit, it is absolutely not a problem at all. Now, some of that has to do with the fact that you can raise up the feet and you can raise and change change the angle. But even if you were to lay this flat down, the way they have this thing laid out, and because it's not so jumbled together and there's nice space between the controls and the knobs and the buttons, you got plenty of room for screen printing. And even though it's a dark aluminum with a white text, it shows up perfectly. Even the smaller printing where you have like, you can take the EQ in and out, you can see the words very, very clearly. It's really, really nice. So I'll put that under the build quality. The second thing I really like about this, and again, not all control surfaces do this very well, is when you turn knobs, and I have our channel strip here up on the screen, channel strip 2. When we turn the knobs, like I'm turning the low cut filter here, it is absolutely not even a bit of latency. It feels good. It responds perfectly no matter what you turn or how you turn it. It works perfectly. There is absolutely no latency, no lag, no nothing. Some control surfaces do that well. I can tell you there's other ones that don't do that very well. Even when you use like the gain knob to turn, or excuse me, when you go to the transport, and we go here and we want to turn the fader up and down here on the plugin with our knob. See how nice and smooth that is? I could turn that really, 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 really fast. There is no latency at all. I've used other controllers where you'll turn this and there's a slight hesitation. Again, maybe you don't feel that to be a big deal. I kind of don't like that. I'm glad that this thing responds really, really well. It's beautiful that way. So there's no latency at all when using the knobs. The other thing that I really like about the UC-1, and this was part of their new software update in 2022, is they added, as part of the firmware and part of the software, they added a transport control right here on the screen. That was one of the things that maybe you wouldn't like in the past. It was a heavily requested feature that you can start and stop your DAW right from the UC-1. All you do is you take this one encoder and you press it in. If you press that down, it will change from transport back to main where you do channel selecting, and you can play and stop. That's great. Okay. That's really, really great. So I love that. The next thing that I really like about it is I love the sound of the plugins. I mean, that's kind of obvious that when you buy this unit, you get 3 plugins included. You get Channel Strip 2, which is here on the screen in front of you. You get the brand new 4KB channel strip, which sounds amazing. I did a demo of that in one of our last videos. And then you also get the G-Series bus compressor, and all of those controlled right from here. And they all sound wonderful. Coming from someone who actually works on a real SSL console, and I have some real SSL hardware, the SSL Fusion and some others, I will tell you that the channel strips sound fantastic. They're probably some of the best sounding channel strips, SSL channel strips that are on the market. There's other plugin companies that do really good ones. I think SSL does one of the better ones. They sound great. Does it sound like a real console? It sounds really close. I will tell you, it's not identical to a real console. It'll never be identical, but they do sound fantastic, and it does have that SSL vibe and flavor. So I love the sound of the plugins. The plugins are done really, really well. I know right now there's only 3 of them that can be controlled from the UC-1, but they sound great. One of the other things, or one of the last things that I really like about this in general, is that you rarely have to touch the mouse and the keyboard at all when using just the UC-1 working inside of your DAW. Now, if you pair up the UC-1 with the UF8, which we're going to do in the next series of videos, and you put those together, you almost never have to touch the mouse and keyboard. But the fact is that your hands are on the controller most of the time, and I've demonstrated that in some of the other videos prior to this one. One of the downfalls to these plug-in controllers or DAW controllers or a combination of both is I always feel like I have 50% of the time I still have to touch my mouse and keyboard. Not so much with the UC-1. There are a few times where you have to, and I'll talk about that in my improvement section of this video. But I would say 70% of the time you're on the controller, you're not on the mouse and the keyboard, which is fantastic. That's a big, big plus. And then the last thing I'll say about this that makes this thing really great is that it's really fast. Mixing is fast once you get down the muscle memory. Very similar to the Softube Console 1, which in my mind is the direct competitor of this, because it only controls plugins. It's just a plugin controller, much like the Softube. And it's the speed in which you can mix on this product is much faster than when you're mixing on one of those all-in-one kind of things, something like the Icon QCon Pro X that we've done a whole series of videos on this channel. mix, you have faders and you have plugin control, but the plugin control is kind of wonky. Same thing with the fader port by PreSonus. Wonderful gear, but the plugin control is kind of wonky. This is dedicated for plugin control. And because the number one thing that I feel that you do when you're working inside of the box, inside of your DAW, the number one thing that you do the most of is opening and closing and tweaking plugins. I feel even more so than moving faders. So if I had to choose between a product that just did my faders and didn't really do plugin control all that well, or did plugin control very well and I had to use my mouse to move my faders, I would rather have the plugin controller like the UC-1. Although you can mix inside of this with the gain knob. You can work with the faders right here on the plugin, and you can leave all your faders in your DAW at 0 dB, and you could go ahead and you can mix with this as well, which is really, really great. You can do all of that. And you can also do that inside of the 360 software as well. And again, let's talk about that. So there's one more thing I really like about this product. Let me close this for a second, is plugin. If we hit our 360 button, the 360 software I think is genius. The fact that you have all of your channel strips laid out in front of you, and you literally can mix with the gain knob here to mix with your faders, and you have all your EQ, your dynamics and everything right in front of you. You don't even need to go from one plugin window to another in your DAW. You can do it all right in front of you. You can see all your tracks right in front of you. That is beautiful. Again, you rarely have to touch the mouse and keyboard. Now, if we don't use the 360 software, and if we just use our plugin here, you don't have to open and close this plugin on every single track. As you track select, you'll see the plugin advances along with it. I love that. And most DAW controllers can do that. That's nothing revolutionary, but just so you know, you only have to open the plugin window one time. And this makes it very, very fast. So whether you're going to mix inside of your 360 software or whether you're going to mix inside of the DAW, either way, it's still very fast. You don't have to open and close a bunch of windows. So that's really, really nice. So those are the things that I really love about it. It is a fantastic product. I will say that it is. And I'll tell you whether I like it more or less than the Softube in a couple of moments. Stick around. So now, one of the things that I dislike, there are things about this that I think can be improved, and I think probably quite easily, because to me, it's probably more of a software update. The first thing is when we go back to that 360 software, and you can see that when I'm turning, let's say let's say if I scroll up here, and I'm turning our EQ, our input or any knob at all up at the top here, you'll see there's no values here unless you scroll your mouse over it. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is all the pots, there are no values on the screen printing on the thing. So unless you use your mouse to click over this so you can see the value, the numeric value, you don't see that. That I don't like. Even though you're supposed to be using your ears and not your eyes, I think for a lot of people, it is helpful to know, for example, here on the high gain frequency, what is this when it's at 12 noon, it's at like 7.5K. But if you didn't know that and you were not using your mouse and you come over here to turn your frequency, you don't know what frequency it's at. Now, this is new. The old version of the 360 software, they had a zoom feature where you can zoom in up close on this channel strip and you can see all the values. I don't see that here. I don't know if there's a way to see that. I don't know if someone in the comment section, if you know something that I don't about what I'm saying here, please let me know, and especially people at SSL. With the new version of the 360 software, there's no numeric values unless you scroll your mouse over it. I don't like that. That I think needs to be changed. Again, even if the text was a little bit smaller to see, at least you'd have kind of a feel for it. I wish they would go back to, on the left-hand side of this software, they used to have a magnifying glass, a zoom feature that you would use with the on the UC-1, you'd hit the little magnify glass. Right now, the magnifying glass now opens and closes the bus compressor on the right-hand side. It used to zoom in on the channel strip and you could see the finer detail. It doesn't do that. That's one thing that I think could be improved. The other thing that I think can be improved, or maybe there is a way to improve it, or things that I don't like about working inside of the 360, is again, I'm on track 1 here. And again, you can scroll over and everything goes fine, but you can see at the top of the channel strip, the only way it goes to the dynamic section, the only way I can see the EQ is if I use my mouse and scroll down. Because I'm using only a 20-inch, 27-inch display, unless I really shrink down the resolution to where everything is very small, I can't get everything on the screen. So that, again, it forces me to have to take my hand off the controller and go to the mouse to scroll down from the dynamic section to the EQ section. Or you can do it with the arrows on your keyboard. But again, I don't like that. I don't see a way on the UC-1 to scroll. I wish there was. I've tried all the knobs. I've done everything. Again, if I'm wrong about this, please somebody let me know in the comment section. But I would like to have a way to turn a knob. Maybe it's just I don't even see here on the scroll knob. I don't see it. If you hold the find button, I don't see a way to do it. I don't see a way to do it. So you have to scroll down to see the other parts of the channel strip. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of not having your hand on the mouse in the keyboard. So that's something I think needs to be improved. The other thing that I think can be improved, let me close this again. Let me go back, close 360. Even though, as I said a few moments ago, you only need to open the plugin one time, and as you select your channels, the plugin will advance in your DAW, right? But the only way you can close this plugin window or open up a plugin window, I don't see a way to do it from the UC-1. Again, I can't find a way to do it. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section. And if I'm wrong about any of these things, I will make a follow-up video to correct myself if someone can educate me. I don't know how to do that. The only way to close the plugin is to come over with your mouse and to close it, or program a hotkey on your keyboard. Again, my goal, and I think the nirvana for any one of these controllers, is to never have to touch the mouse and keyboard. And that would be something simple, that if you had a button on here that would open and close the plugin window. It doesn't do that. At least I can't figure out a way. That's another improvement that I think can easily be fixed with something in the software update. You know, they did it with the transport. They added that. They can add something like that. That would be something else I would love to see. The other thing that you can't do, at least I can't find it once again, is at the bottom of the plugin where it says output trim. So let's say you're going to boost your input, right, with your gain knob. You want to crank up the input to hit that SSL channel strip pretty hard. Now I need to offset the volume, the gain, right? If I'm mixing with my faders, I don't want to turn down this fader gain. I want to turn down this output trim down here. And the only way I can do that is with my mouse. Again, I don't see a way, and I've tried a bunch of different ways to turn that down from the UC-1. Again, I don't see a way to do that. If anybody knows, once again, please correct me in the comment section. I would be glad to make a follow-up video and figure that out, but I don't see a way to do it. So that's another thing that I think could be improved. Outside of those small things, and again, I'm being picky, and it is small things. Like I said, Uncle Dave is going to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you the way it really is and how I really feel. The way I kind of do the reviews on these products, as I said in one of our first videos in this series, but if this is the first video you're watching, you may not know this. I don't get these products in and spend 3 months and learn every little single nook and cranny and become an expert at it and then do the review. A lot of people do those kinds of reviews. Nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. What I try to do is I try to do reviews where I get them out of the box and you kind of almost see it on camera live, where I want to unbox it. You see those videos, plug it in. I make sure that it works. And then I turn on the camera and we learn it together. And the reason why I do that is because I want you to know, what is it going to be like when you first get this thing into your studio? What problems could could happen? What things work and don't work that you may not be aware of? How easily can you get used to and get on with a product, and how fast can you get working with it and not have to break out the manual and watch 5,000 YouTube videos to figure out how to use it? That's why I do it that way. So you'll see me in the videos. I struggle at times with certain things and I make mistakes, and then I find the correction and I say it in the video. These are not scripted. I want to do these things live so you see what it's really like. That's one of the reasons why the videos take a little longer too. So if I'm incorrect about anything that I said on the dislike section of this video, please let me know below. Solid State Logic, if you're watching these videos, and I'm sure someone will at one point or another, let me know if I'm wrong, because I'd like to do a follow-up video and correct myself, and I can learn something as well. So those are the things I like and dislike. Now for the big reveal. Overall, what do I think? Do I think this thing is worth $900 US at the recording of this video that, this thing costs? I would say without hesitation, absolutely 100% it is. If you are into the SSL sound, and the 3 plugins sound fantastic, and I guess maybe one other side note, that I wish that there were more plugins that were controlled by this. Again, when we compare this to the SoftTube Console 1, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I wish there were more plugins, and I hope SSL comes out with more channel strips, more plugins that can be controlled by this in the future, and I'm sure they will. But the fact that the three plugins that we have, the 2 channel strips and the bus compressor sound fantastic. And I'm an SSL guy. The fact that it feels very professional. I find that it's easier to work on this, probably because I'm coming from a real SSL console and it is laid out exactly the same way. The bus compressor is laid out exactly the same way. It is super, super familiar. I think this thing is worth the money all day long. If you're into the SSL sound, this is a home run. This is a home run. Even though it's priced considerably higher than the main competitor, the Softube Console 1. And I've done a whole series of videos on the Console 1. And that is an awesome controller as well. But you can go watch the likes and dislikes about that controller. Now, comparing this to that, because that's what some of you are going to say, which one would you buy? If money wasn't an object, and which ones would I buy? I'd buy this over the Console 1 for 2 reasons. One, I like the sound of the plugins better. I like the interface better. I like the layout of the controller better. Those 3 things alone would make me buy this over the Console 1. The Console 1 is great, but as I said in those videos, it has more features on the channel strip with the Console 1. You have a few more adjustments. They have a larger suite of plugins that you can control. That's the advantages. But I also feel like the controller isn't made as well. I also feel like the controller is dated looking. The controller, one of the things that I talked about earlier, where you can read all of the text on this thing easily, clear as day. On the Softube Console 1, it's almost impossible to see some of the text on that layout. It's a terrible design that way. Even in the stand, when it's angled up, you can't see it. This is perfect. All the knobs on the Console 1 are black and you don't know what you're touching. You got to color code all the knobs. These are all color coded. It's easier to use. I feel this is easier to use in the Console 1. I feel the plugins sound better than the Console 1. As far as speed of mixing, I would say it's about the same. Once you get used to the Console 1, you can whip around that thing and fly around that thing too. It is a great product in that respect. But this is equally as fast. So, would I buy this over the Console 1? Personally, I would. That does not mean that's not a good product, Console 1. I love the people at Softube. They make a great product, and you can go watch all the videos. But as I said to you, I'm giving you my honest opinion. If I had to choose one or the other, it would be this one. Every single day of the week, there would be no hesitation. No hesitation whatsoever. So, if you're into SSL, and you have to be into the SSL ecosystem because you can't control Neve channel strips and API channel strips and UAD plugins and all the things Console 1 can do. But if you're into the simplicity and the unique sound of SSL, and you want something that's high quality build that's going to last you a lifetime, that you can take your hands off the mouse and keyboard, so far probably 70-80% of the time. It's not perfect, as I said, but it's the closest one I've ever seen. Then this one is for you. And that's what I would say. And so you can go watch all the videos prior to this where I show you how to mix with the plugin. I show you to mix in the 360 software. We walk through all the controls. But I think this is a home run, and I really, really like this product. I really like this product. It also doesn't take up an enormous amount of room on your desk, although it does take up more room than Softube Console 1. I will say that. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you're considering buying one of these things, again, you can click the link in the description box below and go out to Sweetwater. You can get that with my affiliate link, and I really do appreciate that. Also, there is a playlist of the rest of the videos for the UC-1 in the description box if you have not seen those. Last but certainly not least, thank you so much, Sweetwater and Solid State Logic, for sending this to me. I really enjoyed working with it, and I'm going to do some more working with it on the channel in the very, very near future, and I'm going to pair it up with the SSL UF8. That's going to be the next series of videos I'm going to do. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell, because you're going to see all the videos that are going to be coming in the very near future for the SSL Solid State Logic UF8, not only as an independent standalone like this, but then paired up with the UC-1, the 1-2 combination. Can we get our hands off the mouse and keyboards entirely? We're going to find out, so make sure you stay tuned. Okay? Also, like I said, go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Get your free mixing course. We're talking about mixing with all this Solid State Logic product lately. Go check out that free mixing course. It's my gift to you. It's $100. If you like that course and you want to purchase one of my other full-length, fully featured training courses, and we have everything from beginners to intermediates to advanced, I want to give you 25% discount coupon code. The coupon code is YouTube25. That'll take off 25% off of any one of the training courses on my website. Just use that in the box at checkout. And until the next video, I've been Dave with homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Thank you so very much for watching me today. Go get yourself a UC1, and I'll see you in the next video.